Well, hello. Welcome to the live stream, everyone. The 2025 Best Reformed Podcast Bracket. We are moving right along. Had some controversy this morning a little bit, which we will get to shortly. But first, I want to introduce everyone on the live stream right now. Obviously, we have our sponsors with us, which we want you to follow them, support them, patronize them. Couldn't do it without them. And then it looks like we're being joined by one of the finalists as well, to the very dapper Matthew Everhard. But let's go around the horn. Parker from Vindicated Productions, tell us what you're all about and how you're involved in the bracket.
Well, we're involved in the bracket, but we lost in the first round to the Ezra Institute, and they were formidable opponents. But we'll try again next year. But ultimately, Vindicated Productions, we want to relieve you the burden of content creation. So you create, you film all of your content, you script it, and you do all the stuff for content creations, and then you actually upload it to the cloud. We download it, edit for you, and send it back to you for a monthly fee. So if you want to save on some time and you want us to edit for you, come check us out at vindicatedproductions.com.
All right. Awesome. And you are a judge in one of that. So you get to pick who you give that prize to, which I absolutely love. Moving right along, Terry Mann, Patriarch Cigars. I see the smoke billowing in the video. Yeah, look at that. Josiah and I have got him right there. I've got the bag. I've got the scar. I'm saving this one here for the finals. I'll light it up maybe on the final video. But tell us a little bit about yourself, where people can find you, how they can get some of those premium quality cigars.
Yeah. So my name's Terry Mann. I'm one of the partners in Patriarch Cigar Company. You can find us on all the socials, patriarchcigars.com. We've got a good special going on right now for tax season till April 15th. Tax promo code tax15, get 15% off. And spend some of that big fat check the government's been holding on to for the last year. So we're just a Christian cigar company. We're just trying to build a distinctly Christian company, and just started out with some guys from my church trying to cover our cigar budget, and it grew from there. So
I love it. And the only thing really that can make tax season as a business owner a little better for me is a good quality cigar. So I love the tax 15 promo code, 15% off. Go check it out, guys. We have Adam from Rockwall Bibles. I mean, look what I'm holding here, guys. I mean, a gorgeous ESV Creeds and Confession, gray, rawhide, stamped, half yap. It's got the stitching. I mean, this is just a gorgeous Bible. Someone's going to win this. We're down to the final four. And so there's a 1 in 4 chance of someone winning this today. But Rockwall Bibles, Adam, tell us a little bit about what you do and where people can find you.
Yeah, I saw some envy come across on Matthew's face there as you were showing that. So
definitely want that Bible. I'm coming for
it. You're right there.
Very close.
I just try to make as cool Bibles as I can, to be honest. Stuff that's going to last a really long time. So we use really high quality materials, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely love it. And thank you for donating your time to make that. And then, of course, Dominion Wealth Strategist, the only place to trust a Reformed brother with your money to steward it well. It's biblical. Josiah, tell us a little bit about DWS and how you can help people out.
Yeah, so Dominion Wealth Strategist is the only distinctly Reformed financial consulting firm in the world, and I would know. I've been to all the conferences where other people would have shown up had they existed. So we're built from the ground up to serve the Calvinistic Covenantal Confessional Church, like Dave Ramsey, but our advice is actually good. We're here to help you with budgeting, debt management, savings accounts, life insurance, retirement planning, estate planning, business coaching, like the whole 9 yards here. So if you need help with your money, or you want help with your money, or you'd like it actively managed by actually Reformed Christians, we'd be happy to help you. And we do all of that free of charge, with the exception of estate planning and business coaching. We do have to charge for those, but you're not going to find a cheaper place to get your estate planning done. And as far as business coaching, we may cost $300 an hour, but we're going to save you thousands and thousands getting your business off the ground. So happy to help there. And again, the only distinctly Reformed financial consulting firm in the world. So if you're Calvinistic, covenantal, confessional, Presbyterian, Reformed Baptist, the like 15 Reformed Anglicans that exist in this country, we'd be happy to help you out and help you put your money to good work for the kingdom.
I love it. And also you have the best URL on the internet, reformed.money. It doesn't
Yeah.
get more straightforward than that.
Which I'm kind of surprised was available, but also in another sense, I'm not at all surprised was still available. So the Reformed Church has not historically been very good with their money. So we were able to scoop that up for like $15. So www.reformed.money, and it'll redirect to our website.
Awesome. Glad to have you guys here. And then we have one of the finalists of the 4 finalists on here, Matthew Everhard, a gentleman who ashamedly I just became aware of in the last 2 years. And I thought I had found a gold mine until I looked at his channel, saw all his followers, saw all his videos and audio stuff, and went, oh, I was just behind on the curve. How have I not run into this fellow Reformed Presbyterian before? And first time in the, last year, were you in the bracket last year?
Not
Matthew?
the main bracket. I did the summer tournament with the, it was the Pastor Smoke and Cigar tournament. I took 3rd in that one, but this is my first time in the main bracket.
Yeah. So your main bracket, first time up, 128. And you, my friend, are in the final 4. And not only that, but currently leading the King's Hall 57 to 43%. What do you attribute that first time success to?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of controversy today. And one of the controversies is, how did the Kingdom Hall get into a Reformed tournament here? Because I'd never heard of the Kingdom Hall before. I looked them up. It's Jehovah's Witnesses. They're talking about on their podcast, the world translation and stuff. And then I heard about this guy called Suave. So I looked him up, and it was deodorant. So I'm not even sure who I'm going up against this round. I do hope that it's me and Keith in the finals, though, because if Foskey's out there listening to this, Foskey, you're Calvinist, you know that you and we have a date with destiny. You and I are going to debate the topic of baptism if we make it to the finals. If we don't, it's off. So I suggest everybody vote for me and Keith if you want to see a Presbyterian pound a Reformed Baptist on the topic of baptism.
That's so funny.
Okay. First of all, I just have to say, you must hate me. Matthew, because stirring up this controversy, I already went through the tie, and then we had to do a Proverbs 16:33 cast of the die to see who moves through. And now with this strategy, you're saying that there's Jehovah Witnesses involved.
I've never heard of them before.
I'm not kidding you. I could go through and screenshot. I probably got 100 DMs and public posts going, why is Redeemed Zoomer in there? He's a papist. He's courting the Catholic vote. How dare you? And I said, well, thank God in the providence of the Lord, when I rolled the die, at least King's Hall went through, and then King's Hall goes through, and I get stuff going. How can you have the guys from Ogden in there? They have stuff that I don't agree with. And I go, I can't win either way. So now with Matthew piling on and calling them Jehovah Witnesses, it is what it is. I guess I just have to deal with it.
I'm just kidding, of course. I have actually heard of the King's Hall. This is just my approach. I'm trying to throw out some voter misinformation there, election interference on my part. But true story, Keith and Redeemed Zoomer and I, we're all friends behind the scenes, and we have a wild personal chat going throughout this entire tournament. So we're pulling for each other. I'm pulling for Keith. Redeemed Zoomer's pulling for me now. So we're in it to win it. And the other guys, the worst case scenario is if King's Hall faces Haunted Cosmos in the finals, because that's basically one guy against himself. And we do not want to see that happen. So make sure that either Keith or I or both get through to the finals.
Yeah. And I just, you guys can comment on this. I have to give a shout out to them, though. Last year we had 64, and it came down to the King's Hall and Haunted Cosmos, and Brian is involved in both of those. Obviously Haunted Cosmos has 3 hosts, and I thought it was a pretty big feat. And I went, well, this probably won't happen again. Maybe it was just the year for them. And like I said, 1 through 10 is ranked, and then the rest are randomized with a computer generated randomizer. You can find it online. And it just so happens that they put up that the randomizer put Haunted Cosmos and King's Hall on opposite brackets, side of the brackets. So once again, it possibly could be the King's Hall and Haunted Cosmos. Now, if no one wants to see that, good news for you. If you guys want to see some new blood in there, because right now, like I said, Matthew Everhard leading King's Hall 57-43, and Keith Foskey leading Haunted Cosmos 64-36. But you can't get comfortable. I've seen overnight votes come in. People get off work. They start, getting on. Someone retweets it with a lot of followers. That can shift it. So right now, Matthew, you are in the lead in your bracket. Keith's in the lead in his bracket. If you guys pull off a defeat of Haunted Cosmos and King's Hall, I think that would be huge, just because this is the second year in a row they've gotten to the Final Four. And for you to come in as a newcomer, Keith to come in as a Final Four qualifier, and then this year defeat them. I think that would be huge. What do you guys think that are on the live stream? Where are your bets at? Who you think can get into the final two?
Well, I'm going to go obviously with Keith Foskey and Matthew Everhard. That's who I want to win. I even threw it up on my my Twitter page. I mean, I'm here in Ohio, and people have gone to the streets. They're holding signs out on the sidewalk saying Foskey Everhard 2025. I mean, it is shaping out to be a pretty intense run here for both of those guys. So yeah, I mean, Keith's up. What'd you say, 64% to 35?
64-36 right now. Yeah.
Yep. Kings Hall's losing massively because Everhard's doing his thing, 57. So yeah, I know you say that votes can come in at the end, Greg, but I just don't see it. I just see the better actually winning here, cream rising to the top.
Yeah, unless the Jehovah's Witnesses want to go door to door and get some.
Yeah, that's right.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I would agree with you. Look, there's only been one bracket where someone came back from not leading in the first hour, and that was Redeemed Zoomer against William Wolf. William Wolf, the Center for Baptist Leadership. He was down in the first hour, pretty big, and then came back. Every other bracket that I've been watching that I can think of, within that first hour or two, if you're up by more than 5 or 8 points in that range, you usually maintain that lead. So it's boding well for both Keith Foskey and Matthew Everhard, which not only am I surprised, and I have to remain neutral. I'm the bracket organizer, and that's fine. Whoever wins gets through. Let the people speak, the votes speak. But I'm not mad at a Keith Foskey, Matthew Everhard showdown. Are you guys?
And let's be real. I mean, if one thing hasn't been debated enough in the Reform space, it's been baptism, right?
Right.
So we just need this debate to happen.
Okay, but we've only seen it with the Doug Wilsons and the James White boomers. We want the millennial debate, the next generation debate.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think it'll be a lively one too, because if you did watch, and I love Doug Wilson and James White both, but if you watch that when they eventually just got down to basically agreeing with little kids that can be baptized. So look at all I'm saying, and I'm saying this not just because Matthew's on here. I've watched a lot of content by Matthew, a lot by Keith. Keith is known as Mr. Funny Guy. Matthew's making his JW jokes, but both of you guys, both Keith and Matthew, well learned, very, very intentional about the words they say when they're talking about the Word of God, which I look for. They don't talk flippantly about Bible verses and theology. They're very well thought out. So if that were to go through where those two are talking about it, I think it would be probably one of my favorite debates, not only to host, but to watch. So maybe I am rooting for that in the finals, but it's crazy to me that those two could possibly get to the final, especially with Matthew, with you being a first timer. It just goes to show too how wide your reach is across social media. Not only that, but what you're talking about is what people want to hear.
A couple things that are interesting here. First, as to the debate itself, Keith and I are truly friends, and it's a wonderful thing when true friends can actually debate a topic and you're not going to get mad at each other at the end of the day. We did a debate on the Lord's Day a while back, and it was so much fun because Keith is such a gracious person, kind and compassionate. So I love just talking to Keith. We've actually talked about maybe we should debate the mode of baptism, because I'm an advocate for pouring as the biblical mode of baptism. And of course, he would be for immersion. So if the infant baptism thing has already been overdone, there is some discussion that we might shift slightly to mode of baptism, pouring versus immersion. But yeah, Keith is a stud. I'm glad to know him. Very thankful for him and his ministry. He's really as nice, behind the scenes as he is on the screen, and he's super, super lovable on the screen as well.
Yeah. Well, look at
true.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's the thing for the sponsors that are on here too. And I keep seeing Terry take a toke off that cigar, and I'm getting jealous. I kind of want to light one up right now, but in studio, I don't really have any windows in here, so it'll stink for a couple weeks. But
Just
I
hotbox
think
it, bro, you'll be fine.
Right. So I think we've tapped into something here. My wife says, "Are you still doing it every morning? Before we do homeschool and after our Bible study, I'm on there doing stuff." She goes, "I cannot believe that many people are engaged in that." I said, Babe, if there's a few things that Reformed guys like, it's one, ranking things, and then you throw in sponsors that talk about cigars, coffee, Rebound Bibles, and guys that can tell you how to grow business and what to do with your money, along with podcasting production. That's like the top 5 things that us Reformed guys like. So of course we're into it, right? So I'm just saying that too, to throw out a thank you to each of you that sponsored this year, that did that. And I want to make sure for everyone watching, make sure you guys, and it's tagged on every single post, make sure you guys like and follow and use our sponsors. Not just, hey, I follow them on X and see what they're up to. When you have money questions, you're going to Dominion. When you're buying your coffee, you're going to Squirrely Joe's. When you need your Bible Rebound for that gift for your pastor or elder or yourself, you're going to Rockwell. When you're going, hey, I got the guys coming over, we're doing a bourbon and cigar night. Where am I going to go get 20 cigars for them? You're going to Patriarch. When you're going, hey, I'm at the next level of my podcast. How do I edit the audio and video? Is there anyone out there that can do it for me? You're going to Vindicated Productions. So we got to make sure we're using each other, because that's the real thing here. There's a lot of pagans out there that do the same things that all you guys do. We don't want to support them. We want to support our brothers in the Lord. So that's my little promo for you guys. But
and they don't do it nearly as well. So it's in your best interest anyway.
Right.
I agree with that. Amen, brother.
Yeah. So we don't see any upsets. I didn't hear from Adam or Josiah, Terry, are you guys thinking Keith and Matthew in the end, or what are you thinking?
This thing's been tough for me, and I'm just gonna say I voted for Haunted Cosmos. I voted for him all the way through. I'm a logger by trade, and I've been out in the woods my whole life looking for Sasquatch. Okay, and I've seen green orbs. Like I wanna find out what's going on out here. But that being said, there's more to this Baptist Presbyterian debate. And I've watched this for a while now. Baptists and Presbyterians keep their humidors at different levels, and the Baptists tend to keep their humidors at like 67%, and the Presbyterians, they're always running 70, 72. And I just have to say, cigars just don't smoke well when they're that wet. So I'm a Baptist through and through. So if you guys can convince me to moisten my babies and crank my humidor up, I'm all ears, and so I'm looking forward to that debate.
But see, this is why Keith cannot win, because you've seen Keith as much as I have in his denominational videos. He has never yet lit that cigar, has he? He's been using that same cigar for year after year, video after video. If I win the title, I will actually light my Patriarch cigars, and I will do so with pride, and I will rep the brand better than Keith will, because he's just going to chew on that stogie and let the viewers wonder if he's ever going to light one in his whole life.
I feel like at some point in Matthew's life, he was like, pastor or politician? Which is the road? And luckily for us, he chose pastor, because he could be a dangerous politician with.
I'm just waiting for Matthew Everhart's denominational videos to come out.
Maybe
his own version of the denominational videos.
Let's do that.
To throw down.
Yeah, maybe.
It's just
the Methodist at Matthew Everhart. The viewers need to see it.
The real Keith Foskey is the Methodist character. I hope you guys know that in real life. Like if you watch Keith Foskey, he's got these 5 different personas. The real one, if you meet him at the grocery store, it's the Methodist guy. That's what it is.
Please no.
Yep, pink shirt, pink collared shirt, hair coming down, talking a little softer.
Adam, who's your pick for the final 2? Who do you think's making it through?
Well, yeah, Matthew and Keith are the only ones who are making promises to us. So, I got to see, are the Ogden guys going to throw something out? We're getting at least a debate. Maybe, I've heard talks of a wrestling match as well. Can you give us an update on that, Matthew?
Well, see, Keith and I, we both actually have martial arts backgrounds. Keith is a karate guy. And if you've ever seen the scene in Napoleon Dynamite where the karate coach says, like, take my hand, know the other hand, know my other hand, that kind of bit. That's the kind of the kind of stuff that Keith does. Whereas I was an actual wrestler. We have tournaments. We compete against each other. Wrestling is the superior martial art, and given the chance, maybe Keith and I will not only debate baptism, but we might go back to like a UFC 1 style of martial arts and figure out which style of martial arts is actually superior.
That's great.
I'd really like to see both.
Yeah, what's
might
really
be the same
funny?
night. Who knows?
is when I was probably 10 or 11. This is well before the UFC. My grandfather said he would always give this kind of sage advice, and he would say, you know, if you get in a fight, don't get in a fight with a wrestler. And I said, why? And he goes, because fights always end up going to the ground, and they will have the advantage. And then you see in the 90s and 2000s, now we've got UFC. It's like every striker realized, oh, I need to know how to grapple and wrestle. And you have so many championships in UFC specifically where they have a wrestling background, because it really is. It's like you can do your taekwondo and your karate and kind of your boxing, but if it goes to the ground in a match, you better know how to move around on the ground. So yeah,
if wrestling was good enough for Plato, it's good enough for me.
There you go. Yeah.
Can't great out there.
That's a t-shirt, Josiah.
I'm sure.
All right, guys. Well, we don't want to keep these too long. I know we just do a little 20, 30 minute, but you guys got anything else for the people watching out there? We're basically Final Four voting going on right now until 10 o'clock tomorrow. Then we post the final two, and we'll come back Saturday to crown the winner and finish this up. But do you guys got anything else for the people before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'd say if Ogden does get voted out, and it is your Calvinist with Keith Foskey and Matthew Everhard, then we're going to get to watch somebody else smoke a Presbyterian.
There we go.
Wait, what do you got there? What is that?
This is a Presbyterian Reformation, one of my favorite pipe tobaccos.
Nice.
I got that too. I've got that too.
I just want to add thanks to you, Greg, for putting this whole thing on. I know that a lot of us are getting, a lot of other people are getting, notoriety and it's a lot of back office work, I'm sure, to set all the polls up and do all that. So thank you very much for doing all this and creating this fun.
Oh, of course. I enjoy it. My wife, like I said, my wife talked about it, and I was kind of complaining about the tie and the cast of the die, and she goes, "Oh, stop it! You love it secretly." And I go, "I kind of do." I
thought that was underrated, man. That was so funny. And then the guy that posted below that and said that if you actually looked at the what was that? The code of the poll.
Yeah,
it actually matched what the die said.
Huh?
Wait, it did?
Didn't it? That's what I thought.
No, he was saying he looked at the code through Gronk, and he said, I was seeing 50-50, 6,200 votes. And I showed that on the live stream. 6,200 votes, 50-50. He's saying if he went into Gronk and said, analyze the bracket between these two, a dead man walking, Gronk came back and gave the King's Hall like a 40 something, 41 or 42 vote lead, which is what I saw right as votes were finalizing. So I don't know.
I read that wrong. Then I thought that it was saying that the King's Hall lost.
No, he was saying that it won, if I'm looking at it correctly. Either way, it came back as a tie, and I told him, hey, Proverbs 16:33, every decision's from the Lord, even the cast of the die, and that's how we did it, and the King's Hall moved on. So if you're mad, go argue with the Lord's providence.
That's right. That was such a good video, man. That was so good.
The Oderman provision.
I had some guy just post, this decision is so based. That's how I'm making all my decisions from now on. I said, guys, I'm not setting theology or doctrine with the cast. Should I pay my mortgage this month? Oh, the Lord says
we're going to have Reformed Christians out there with magic 8 balls. Like,
no.
Actually, I do work with a company that in the documentation, if there's ever a stalemate, we do have to roll 20-sided die.
Oh, that's okay.
And that's how we're going to break any tiebreakers.
Yeah, some other guy said, hey, they picked Judas replacement that way, so if it's good enough for the disciples, it's good enough for the bracket, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I was thinking you should get one of those Joel Osteen cubes and ask him.
Oh, Joel Osteen. I was going to drop a Joel Osteen clip here, but I can't find it on my Roadcaster. Yeah, one of my favorite clips of Osteen is when he's on Larry King Live, and Larry King is so direct. I don't know if you guys remember. I'm aging myself here, but he just leans into Joel Osteen and he goes, "Well, I'm a Jew. Am I going to heaven?" And
I don't know.
And Joel Osteen's answer, so it just dancing around. Well, Larry, I'm not really the one who says, Larry, and I don't want to judge a man's heart. And he does this whole dance for 30 seconds. And then the next week, Bono came on and he asked them the same question. I'm a Jew. Am I going to heaven? And if you go watch Bono, the rock star, the pagan, supposedly, he starts giving him the gospel. It says there's only one way to God, and it's through Christ Jesus. And you go, wait a minute. So the preacher can't decide, and the pagan rock starts giving him the gospel. Hey, the Lord's going to use whoever he uses, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, I found that funny. All right, guys, I'm just babbling now. We're at 25 minutes. And you guys all said your piece. Anything else before we get off here? I'll take that silence as a no. All right, guys, if you're watching or listening right now, go to Real DMW Podcast on X. Vote for your final four. We've got 20 hours left in that. 10 a.m. tomorrow. We'll have a winner. We'll have the final two, and then we'll go to the final vote to see who will win the 2025 Best Reform Podcast bracket. Guys, thanks for being here so much. I appreciate your participation in this bracket this year.
Yeah, go vote for Keith Foskey and Matthew Everhart.
That's right. Thank you, sir.
Right.
There you go. And remember, guys, chief and a man, glorify God and enjoy him forever.
Mhm.
God bless.
Right.
Amen.
Thank you, guys.